I want to be really clear because someone's sitting here doing these numbers. I'm like, well, my goal is $500,000, which means I got to spend $50K. Yes. You need to spend at least $50K on your personal development. Welcome back to the Seven Figure Educator podcast. My name's Dr. Erica Jordan Thomas, former teacher, former principal, Harvard grad, and founder and CEO of EJT Education Group. I'm excited to have a conversation today about the 2024 market trends that you need to know about as a business owner. So let's talk about 2023 for a second, because if you had your business in 2023, you might have felt that 2023 was a wild ride, my friends. And so let's actually put language to this. Let's break it down. Why was 2023 so bumpy? So when we actually look at the trends and patterns of the past 3 to 4 years, the pandemic had a really significant impact on entrepreneurship. And it happened in a couple of ways. So I think the first thing that people think about is that there was this market expansion and then contraction that happened, meaning in the pandemic, we are all quarantined at home. And now there is this increase of spending because what else do we have to do other than scroll on our phones and be on our computers and just buying things, particularly when you just locked up trying to find ways to be happy? Well, let me buy something to make me happy, right? So there was this expansion that happened in the market of increased spending. And now that we back outside, we're in the post-ish pandemic era, we're now feeling this contraction that's happening in the market. So there was this increase, this really abnormal increase in consumer spending. And now what we were feeling in 2023 is this contraction of consumer buying habits going back to really what was happening pre-pandemic. So 2023 felt like a wild ride for a lot of folks because they might have saw this spurt of revenue happening during the pandemic. And in their head, they're feeling like, oh my goodness, my business is moving backwards, or my clients aren't spending the same way that they were before, and thinking it was something wrong with them or their business, when actually just across the board, the market was contracting again. There was also this conversation around a recession or a looming recession. So there was also this conversation around a recession or a looming recession. And I think that narrative really scared a lot of people. That narrative, particularly as an entrepreneur or business owner, made you think that, oh, people aren't going to be spending in the same way. And what I wanted to really put front and center is actually defining what is a recession. So according to Victor Chang, who's the author of The Recession-Proof Business, he actually defines for us that a recession is when the market shrinks 1 to 2%. That's it, 1 to 2%. And that actually in a severe recession, the market is contracting or shrinking by 5%. So I think it's important that we know the facts, that we center the facts, because when we're talking about this recession or a pending or looming recession, I think it's really easy to think that, oh my gosh, the market is just completely going to shift and people are going from 100 to 50 when it comes to their spending patterns, when the reality is that people are still spending money. They're just making different choices. And a part of that is for you to know, okay, if people are making different choices, that means your marketing message has to be really clear on the value that you bring to your clients. I think it's also important to name the impact from a pandemic standpoint of what it had in terms of the number of new businesses. I'm jumping in real quick to make sure that you know about my scorecard, which is the opportunity for you to get clear on what stage of business you're in. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I want you to go back and check out the episode that I have around the 3 stages of business. And I developed this scorecard so that way you can get quick clarity around A, what stage you are in business, and B, the specific action steps given that stage, so that way you can execute immediately. So go ahead, scroll down to the show notes, and I want you to click the link for the Get Launched Consulting Scorecard. Take that quiz so that way you have clarity on your stage of business. Let's hop back into the episode. So the other important piece to know in terms of the impact of 2020 and the pandemic was that there was an insurgence of new businesses. So according to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce in 2021, 5.4 million new businesses hit the market. So there was this new wave of entrepreneurship that was created for a variety of reasons. Again, people have extra time on their hands. People are feeling inspired. People want to start new businesses. And what we're now seeing 3-4 years post-pandemic or post-2020 is people are now realizing that entrepreneurship ain't what I thought it was. And so we saw this boom of businesses happening that folks who were in entrepreneurship for the quick dollar, they were in it for that silver bullet solution that was going to make them money. That silver bullet has now run its course. That now they are pivoting, they are closing their businesses, they're on to the next new shiny thing. So all of these businesses that were started in the midst of the pandemic, we're now starting to see the dust settle and folks are actually exiting because it really wasn't what they thought it was going to be. So what does that mean? That means that this year is the year of the expert. So folks who got into it for a get rich quick type of energy are now realizing that they got to put in some work or they've made their quick money and they actually ain't in it for the long haul, that this is actually the time where those who've been in the game, who are still consistent, who are still riding it out because they know their ish, they're not new to this, they true to this, they are rising to the surface because people are starting to exit that really weren't experts in the first place. So this is why this year is so important for you to go full throttle in your business because it's your time. It's the year of the expert and it's time for you to show up. So given these dynamics that are at play and that are unique to 2024, well, what does this actually mean for your business? So there's a couple of strategies that I want to name, a couple of things that I want to point out for you that should be top of mind and are unique to this year, given where we've come in the past couple of years of business. So the first is that this is the time where you need to be leading with value. What do I mean by that? You might have heard some folks who are advising from an entrepreneurship standpoint, well, just tell people the what and sell the how. Meaning you keep close to your chest that how strategy or how to actually solve a problem. And given that there were so many businesses that entered the marketplace, and the reality is a lot of people got burnt by people who were not experts. They were just out here to make a quick dollar. The marketplace is rightfully more skeptical than they have ever been before. And so because of that, you are going to have to prove really quickly that you're an expert. You're going to have to lead with your expertise. You're going to have to lead with value, which means you can no longer afford in your business to keep the how a secret. You are going to have to offer up some appetizers of what the how looks like. And if you really an expert, it ain't nothing to give up an appetizer, right? Because you got appetizers for days, right? So you're actually not losing by giving up some of your juice, by giving some of your secrets of how you navigate and solve the problem that you solve in your business, because giving up 2 to 3% actually means I still got over 90% that this well is too deep for me to just simply be giving everything just through an appetizer. I got so much more in store. So this is the time where you really need to be leading with value. And that means what are some of the pieces in your business, whether it's content, whether it's offers, whether it's digital products, that you could be offering up to your audience out of the spirit of educating, out of the spirit of actually giving people a peek and a glimpse into the how. So that's strategy number one. Strategy number two is you are going to have to systematize and get really consistent with nurturing your audience. So on average, it takes around 6 to 8 touch points for a lead to convert to a client. And that's on average, meaning for some people, it might take 2 to 3. For other people, it might take 14 to 16. But that 6 to 8 touch points was before all of the boomer scammer businesses that happened during the pandemic. So you actually now need to anticipate that it is going to require more touch points in order to convert a lead to a client, because people, just rightfully so, are more skeptical because they just don't know you yet. And they saw a lot of people enter the market and exit the market, a lot of people who said they knew certain things, and they realized that you just really don't know a lot, but you out here charging as if you do. You have got to systematize those touch points in your business and nurture your audience. You have to create a really clear pathway of what does it look like to be in relationship with your audience, and not just book a call, not just click this link and enroll. You are going to have to deeply nurture, get to know your audience, and allow them to nurture you. And then the third implication of what does this mean for your business? What do you have to be really solid on? Well, given that it takes more touch points for a lead to convert to a client, it means that it's going to take longer for that client to actually enter your ecosystem and convert, which means you got to know your numbers, because it means that money might be flowing in slower than what it was before. And that doesn't mean that it's not possible for folks to convert. It just means it takes more touch points. It takes more effort. It takes more relationships. So you have got to know your numbers, because knowing your numbers allows you to know how to pivot, to know how to move. Do I need extra touch points this week? Is there someone that I need to follow up with? Because by not knowing your numbers in this market where people are taking longer to convert, you are risking the health of your business. You are risking your business going under by simply not knowing your numbers, because your cash flow ain't going to be flowing the same way as last year. However, you could get it to be flowing if you know your numbers. You know how to move and shake. If you know what's predicted, what's coming in, how many leads you got in your pipeline, how many have booked calls, who do you need to follow up with? You know, when you know your numbers, you know how many people are in your pipeline, how many calls were booked, you know how many people need follow-up conversations, how many people join your email list, how many people entered your funnel. When you know all of those numbers, your business is not unpredictable. And you know how to move and shake, and you can have better control over your business to be able to know how to increase the cash flow of your business. So let's talk about some tactical things of what to do given these trends that I named for this year and these areas to know as a business owner. So first, if we're talking about leading with value, then you should audit your content. And what do I mean by that? I want you to take an opportunity and I want you to go through all the things that you've created in your business, whether it's workshops, social media lives, emails, content, video. I want you to audit everything to actually create a bank and a vault of all the things that you have in your business that you could be offering up to your audience. Because all of this content, whether it's written, whether it's audio, whether it's video form, could be things that you could be repurposing into adding value to your audience. You could be taking an email that you sent a year ago, 2 years ago, and run the playback. Because guess what? We don't remember yesterday, let alone what you emailed 2 years ago. So run that email back, right? If you did a virtual workshop last month or 6 months ago, you could take the replay of that virtual workshop and you could repackage it as a freebie or as a low-cost digital product, right? So for many of you, when you are a true expert, you have so much content at your fingertips that you honestly just forget how much content you have, that you already have things that you could be repackaging to provide value for your audience. Secondly, when we're talking about nurturing your audience, that means you really have to be dialed in to your marketing message and the pain points of your audience. So I would suggest, even if you've already done this, to do it again, to keep fresh and stay fresh in your business, to conduct 3 to 5 informational interviews with your target client. This could be someone who's heard about you. You could put an all call out through your email list, through social media. This could be people in your network, but engage in either one-on-one informational interviews or focus groups to really get proximate to your target client to hear how are they experiencing the problem that you're solving. What are the words that you're using? What are the pain points that they're experiencing? What are roadblocks that they're facing in attempting to solve the problem on your own? Because that intel is what's going to allow you to stay fresh and relevant with your marketing message, because your audience may not know that you can solve the problem that they're experiencing because you're not messaging your services in the right way. And this is the market where you have to be really clear on the value that you provide and the transformation that you provide to your audience, not just how long, how many weeks, how many coaching sessions, how many PD services in the PD package. We're not leading with features. We have to lead with the benefits and transformation. And this is the perfect opportunity to get intel from your target client on what that sounds like to incorporate it into your marketing message. And then thirdly, what to do when we're talking about knowing your numbers. Here are a couple strategies around what that could look like. First off, if you are making at least $50K in annual revenue in your business and you do not have a bookkeeper, you need to get a bookkeeper as in yesterday. You need to have clear, accurate books, and now is the time to build that foundation as you continue to grow. If you have a bookkeeper and you are continuing to grow your business, you need to make sure that you have a monthly accurate P&L or profit and loss statement by the 15th of every month that you need to be reviewing. So if that P&L is not in your hands by the 15th of every month, it's too late because that's past data and we're 2 weeks from where that data was most accurate. So if I get it by the 3rd week, I lost time to be able to pivot for even this month. So that 15th date is so important, and you should be having that one-on-one time during your weekly meeting with yourself, during your strategic planning time every single week to be looking at that P&L. If you have a CFO, so you're at the $750K to $1 million plus mark and you have a CFO on your team, these are the conversations you should be having with your CFO, is looking forward at your numbers, projecting your cash flow, projecting your reserve, projecting your expenses, getting into that budget to compare what actually happened to what you had projected. That's another space and where you should be diving deeply to be able to know your numbers. And then I'm going to give you a bonus strategy here. So I've already given you 3 in terms of what this means for your business and how you can actually execute in your business. But I want to give you a bonus strategy because these are the times when, as a business owner, you cannot afford to go without developing yourself. These are the times when you cannot afford to not invest in yourself. And so whatever your revenue goal is for this year, you should take 10% of that, and 10% of your revenue goal for this year is what you should be spending on your personal development. So if your goal this year is $250,000, you should be spending at least $25,000 on your personal development. This could be going to conferences, this could be coaching, this could be masterminds. You choose what that strategy is. But whatever your revenue goal is for this year, you need to have a budget line item at minimum to be investing in yourself, because let me tell you who goes further faster. People who learn faster. And these are the times where you cannot afford to go without coaching and advisement, because when you get proximate to someone who has navigated these waters before, who ain't new to this, it allows you to navigate them with more ease and quicker because someone can actually guide you around what you can't see. So I want to be really clear, because someone's sitting here doing these numbers. I'm like, well, my goal is $500,000, which means I got to spend $50K. Yes. You need to spend at least $50K on your personal development. And I guarantee when you make that investment thoughtfully, not only will you meet your goal, but you've actually set yourself up to succeed your goal. So these are just a few of the market trends for 2024, as well as what they mean for your business. And I've actually gone deeper into a number of market trends and actually lay out a few more strategies of how to implement them in your business and specifically what they mean for your business in my 2024 Education Consulting Market Trends Report. And you can grab a free copy by scrolling to the show notes and clicking the link to grab your copy today. I hope this episode was beneficial for you. You were able to learn something. Give me some feedback in the comments. Let me know what you learned. Let me know what resonated with you. If you found this episode to be really helpful, I want you to subscribe and share it with a friend, because sharing is caring. And I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.